and welcome to this course, How to Master Answer the Public. I'm Sophie Coley from Search Listening, the official education partner of Answer the Public. Myself and the team here have been working with the Answer the Public tool and the team there since it launched, so we've really got to grips with how to get the best out of it, and we've got lots to share with you in this course. We've also created a video guide to using Answer the Public and an infographic which will help you explore some of the really valuable branches on the wheels that you see in your reports. They're both included in your course materials, so if you've not already checked them out, then please do. They're good background reading for everything we're going to cover, and I'll refer to them a few times throughout. In this course specifically, and in fact in this lesson, you'll learn why search data is such a rich source of insight. Lesson 1, that's this one, will also see me answer some of your FAQs around Answer the Public, including how it came about and how fresh the data is. In Lesson 2, you'll learn how to use Answer the Public in the best way possible. We'll look at search volumes and why you shouldn't get too hung up on them, using the entire report, working with the seed terms, and the value in clicking through to see search results. Lesson 3 will focus on what we call tailored searches. So you'll learn how to use Answer the Public to identify and use instances where people tailor their search by locale, by persona, and by preference. Lesson 4 looks at influence and aspiration within search. You'll learn how to spot and make use of people revealing who or what they're influenced by in search, be it personalities, brands, destinations, products, shows, or something else. In Lesson 5, we'll cover all things knowledge. You'll come to understand the importance of how-to search behaviour and how you can make use of it. The same goes for questions and comparisons. Lesson 6 will cover how people seek advice and recommendations online, looking at searches using BEST as a qualifier and comparison searches in a recommendation context. In Lesson 7, you'll learn more about how people seek validation and look for communities of people like them within search. We'll cover how you can use Answer the Public to understand labels and stereotypes, statements and confirmation bias, permissive searches and vulnerability in search. Lesson 8 will be a guide to some advanced ways that you might use Answer the Public for seeking consumer insight. You'll learn how to get lost in Answer the Public rabbit holes, and I'll show you the value in mind mapping. Finally, in Lesson 9, we'll do a recap of everything we've covered in the previous 8 lessons so that you can bring everything together and apply it to your own business. One thing I should flag before we get going is that you will hear me refer to seed terms and bridge words throughout this course. When I say seed terms, I literally mean the terms that you are typing into Answer the Public to generate a report around. By bridge words, I mean the words that are built into Answer the Public, so the spokes on the wheels, things like, versus, can, near, what, why, and so on. So, with that, on to Lesson 1. First FAQ, how did Answer the Public come about? Well, myself, my search listening colleagues and the guys at Answer the Public all met working together at digital marketing agency, Propellernet. Full disclosure, I still work there half the week and I focus the other half of my time on search listening. For me, that's really, really important as it allows me to figure out new use cases for search listening on real life client briefs, which makes the insight I can share with you all the stronger. Anyway, like I said, we met working at the agency. Insight had always been a big part of the work we do, but my insight work focused very much on the people side of things. We did and do a lot of traditional SEO work, so we're all very familiar with keywords, but I was always driven by this idea that we must not forget the people behind the searches. So it's not robots who use Google and other search engines, there's always someone there with a very real need. In terms of insight methodologies, I spent a lot of time playing about with Google's auto suggestions, and we came to see them as a really valuable data source. So ways that we used them included sharing them with one of the UK's most well-known supermarkets to feed into their product development. We also used insights to create personas and to inform PR and marketing campaigns. That said, it was always quite time-consuming running through all the possibilities, and everyone had a slightly different approach to the job. So, my very smart colleague saw an opportunity to automate the whole process and genuinely, in one weekend, built the first iteration of Answer the Public just for fun. We recognised that others would likely find the tool useful too, and so we decided to open it up. Second FAQ. Where does Answer the Public's data come from? So, now you know how Answer the Public came about, it's also worth you knowing where its data comes from. All of the terms you see in your reports come directly from Google's auto suggestions. So when you're in Google and you start typing a search term, let's say tacos, you'll know it starts almost trying to predict what it is that you're going to search for. Google does that based on how it's seen other people search. It basically assumes that you'll follow suit. So with my tacos example, we can see that other people who start their search with the word tacos go on to search for tacos recipe and tacos near me and tacos al pastor. The most popular suggestion is the one at the top, and the popularity or frequency of each term decreases as you go down the suggestions list. But they are all still popular search terms by virtue of the fact that Google is suggesting them at all. It's these suggestions that Answer the Public scrapes, with some standardisation thanks to the bridge words built into the tool. I said it earlier, but for clarity, by that I mean will, can, where, and so on. Going back to my tacos example, Answer the Public basically replicates you going into Google and generating suggested searches for tacos, but then tacos plus every letter of the alphabet, as well as will tacos, can tacos, where tacos, how tacos, which tacos, who tacos, when tacos, you get the picture. Answer the Public is a huge time saver and it automates a pretty laborious work stream. Two other things to note while we're talking about the data that Answer the Public serves up. One is that the tool does not do a quality control job. That is down to you. This means that you'll sometimes see odd, nonsensical or unexpected suggestions, especially if you're working with words which have more than one meaning or context. So things like apple, which is a fruit and a brand. If you see anything odd or random, it's literally come from Google, so make of it what you will. Secondly, the freshness or recency of the data in Answer the Public is also determined by Google. Google discloses very little about how often it updates its suggestions, but we do know that you get more relevant results if you search when your topic is topical or seasonal. By that I mean, for the best insights, run searches around Christmas in and around that Christmas period. You won't get as relevant results by searching for Christmas terms in March. What you'll actually get is an understanding of how people think about Christmas in March. For this reason, you'll want to bank insights for the following year's planning. We also know that Google's suggestions typically react to breaking news. So if a big name celebrity suddenly and really unexpectedly got married, you'd start to see searches with their name conclude with suggestions like wedding or marriage. So it's a great barometer of what's going on right now. But remember that right now point. Whether it's a breaking celebrity story or something important to your business, the search data surfaced in Answer the Public will give you insights relating to a moment in time. You need to be doing this work on an ongoing basis and seeing how searches change over time to get the most relevant insights. Okay, so why is search data such a rich source of insight? So you now understand that Answer the Public's data is effectively Google data, and you'll hear me and others refer to that as search data. Now, search data is a hugely rich source of insight. Step out of work mode for a second and think about how you use Google. In fact, you might like to track your searches over the course of a day to help you reflect. I'll bet that at some point you've told Google things that you haven't told anyone else in your life. Your doctor, your partner, your best friend. For so many of us, it's a modern-day confession box or a non-judgmental source of advice and help when we're in a tricky or embarrassing situation. For that reason, we are super honest with Google. You can see it in searches like, how long does next day delivery take? Why does the moon keep following me? Can a boat float on water? And is it wrong to pick up a girl in a dungeon? All real Google searches. They're all questions that I suspect the searcher might not have voiced in the real world for fear of embarrassment, but they have asked Google. Step back into work mode now. You're likely using some form of customer or audience insight to inform some of your business and marketing decisions on a day-to-day basis. So, reflecting on what I've just said about how we all use Google, hopefully you're starting to realise the potential of search data and what it could bring to your efforts to understand people better. Some other points to consider. Search data is candid and unaffected by bias, so people are performing searches in the real world based on real needs. They're not being asked in a survey or a focus group to anticipate how they might behave in a certain situation or to recall what they think about a certain topic. It's also a huge sample. There are over 63,000 searches being performed every second worldwide. That's 5.6 billion searches every day. Finally, you can access the data for free, whether via Google Suggestions or Answer the Public, and pretty much instantly. So lots of reasons as to why search data is such a rich and valuable source of insight. Next question, how does Answer the Public's free version work? And what about the pro version? What do I get if I upgrade my membership? So these are really valid questions, but I'm conscious that many of you signing up to this course will be regular users, whether you're signed up to the pro or free plan. If you are interested in a full walkthrough of the tool, then I recommend you watch our How to Use Answer the Public video, which is included in your course materials. It will recap on some of what we've just covered, but it will also give you that full walkthrough, and it will show you the benefits of using the Pro version if you're curious as to what those benefits are. So that's it for lesson 1. I hope it's given you a good understanding of where Answer the Public came from and why the data it surfaces is so powerful. To recap, we covered how Answer the Public came about, so you know a bit about the history and the work processes that it was built to speed up and make more efficient, and how its insight can and has been used to create personas and to inform PR and marketing campaigns. We looked at where Answer the Public's data comes from. You now understand that it's actually Google data, or more specifically Google's suggested searches, and that those suggestions are most relevant if you explore them in their seasonal context. So remember Christmas searches around the Christmas period. But they're also updated to include reactions to significant live breaking news stories. This means you need to think about banking insights when they're seasonally relevant to use next time around, and that you should be thinking of Answer the Public as an ongoing monitoring tool, not just using it once and seeing it as job done. Finally, I talked about why search data is such a rich source of insight. You've reflected on your own use of Google, and I hope come to see the strengths of search data over some other research methods. Remember, it's super candid. It comes from the in-the-moment needs of real people who aren't in artificial research environments, and so it's less biased. The sample size is also huge because there are 5.6 billion searches being performed worldwide every day, and it's free and almost instant to access.